I usually don't record tutorials on algorithms. I focus on game development and Unreal Engine, however I thought Morris traversal is a very interesting binary tree traversal algorithm and I could record a tutorial on it. It is an iterative algorithm and it has O1 space complexity, which means it is amazing for traversing large trees. It's also cool because, well, it eliminates need for recursion and you don't have to use a stack as a helper variable. I will explain it step by step with a visualization, but first we have to briefly talk about other algorithms just to see their pros and cons. I suppose you already know what DFS and BFS are. And if you tried implementing one of those, if you tried traversing the binary tree, you used either recursive or iterative approach with a stack. Recursive approach is very intuitive, at least as long as it is just a naive approach. We can take a look on this pre-order recursive approach. Pre-order traverses first root, then left node and right node of each subtree. This is what you typically implement when you start learning about binary trees. However, it wastes a lot of memory. Each recursive call creates a new stack frame in the memory, and that stack frame is not freed until recursion reaches its base condition. As you can see in the example, on this small tree we have 3 stack frames at most, but you can imagine how it would look on a bigger tree. This can be solved by using so-called tail recursion, where recursion is always the last executed step in a function call. That means that by the time we are doing another call, the previous one is already finished. It wastes less memory, but, well, it becomes difficult to understand and to modify. Tail recursion usually works by accumulating previously gathered results in some variable that is later passed as an argument to the function. So this time you can pass it as an argument from one call to another and to another. That means it could be used to solve a variety of LeetCode questions and problems where you have to keep track of previously visited nodes. However, in my opinion, tail recursion is usually more difficult to come up with. It's more difficult to develop and to debug. And by the way, if you noticed that I changed it from pre-order to in order when I switched between two solutions, I did it on purpose. And that's because from now on, I will focus only on in-order traversal. Let's talk about the stack. It is a way nicer alternative than using recursion. It's an iterative approach, it's efficient, it doesn't create stack frames for each call. When we process a node for the first time, we push it to the stack. This way we can track it and we can visit it later after processing the left child. It is a very easy to understand approach once you know how it works, but it may be more difficult to come up with than recursion. And for trees like this one, the stack variable never holds too much data. However, as the tree height gets bigger, number of nodes in the stack also grows. In this case, it grows up to 2, but in the worst case scenario, it could be the same as the number of nodes. Let's take a look on this example. Each node has only one child, and, well, when we have 5 nodes, the height of the tree is also 5. So it is the worst case scenario. Most of the times, we could say that the space complexity of this algorithm is OH, where h is the height of the tree, but in the worst case scenario, this is going to be ON, which is number of the nodes, which actually is the same as the height. So, as you have seen, there are two main issues we have to deal with when traversing binary trees. One of them is keeping the code readable. Everyone would like to understand it when he sees it, right? The second thing is memory complexity. It's terrible for naive recursive approach, and even with iterative one, we may waste more memory than we would like to. To solve those issues, we can use Morris traversal algorithm. I will go step by step and we will see how it works, but please, if you are watching this video for the first time, don't focus on the code on the left side. First, try to understand the algorithm. You can focus on this code later. It is, by the way, also a valid code, so if you copy it, rewrite it, and run it, it is going to work. But for now, let's just focus on building some intuition. Let's start with the output we are expecting. This is an in-order algorithm, and it means we first process the left subtree, then current node, and lastly, the right subtree. So in that case, in order outputs 2, 1, 4, 3, 5. Keep that in mind. Now, before we build intuition, we have to first understand what the predecessor is. Predecessor is a node that occurs before a given node. And in our case, before 1 comes 2. In other words, if current node is 1, predecessor is 2. Another example, if current node is 4, predecessor is 1. And now, as we know it, let's try to iterate the algorithm slowly, and I will explain what we need the predecessor for. Let's start with current node, which is equal to the root. So current node is 1. It has a left child, and as you know, we start iteration in order with the left subtree. So 1 must have some predecessor in the left subtree, and we have to find it. We can start by marking the left child as the predecessor, but if it has some children, we will have to update it. We'll have to keep looking. And also, I'm going to use orange for marking the predecessor, and you can see color cheat sheet at the bottom of the screen. Finding this predecessor is important because we can use it to create connection back to the current node. It's called a thread, and it works by marking current node as right child of the predecessor. By creating the thread, we did some groundwork required to let us iterate left side of 1 and come back. So let's iterate. 2 becomes the new current node. We add 2 to the output. We are done with the left subtree of 1. We can get back to node 1 thanks to the thread. 1 becomes the new current. Then we remove the thread to make sure we don't leave the tree modified. And don't forget to add 1 to the output array. We already processed the left subtree, so we can add current node to the result. Now it's time to iterate over the right subtree of 1. Let's visit right child of 1, which is 3. It becomes current. 3 has some children, and it looks like we will have to find its predecessor because it has a left child. Left child of 3 is 4, and we set it as the predecessor. We would keep looking for the predecessor if there were some children of 4, but it turns out it has no children, so we can simply stop the process. Let's assign current to the right child of 4, and that is our thread. We can update current to 4 and add 4 to output. Then we can use the thread to iterate back to 3. And you probably already know what happens next. We can remove the thread and set the predecessor to none. 3 becomes new current and we add it to output. We now have to process the right subtree of 3. The only child of 3 is 5. It has no children, so we don't have to look for any predecessor, nor to iterate in left or right subtree. We can simply add it to output and we are done. The whole concept of threading means that before visiting left subtree of a node, we prepare ourselves a way to come back later. Then once we iterate over the children, we can return to the node that we started the iteration with. This is a great algorithm, and once it clicks, it becomes obvious, but it may be difficult at the first time. I recommend you to replay the visualization, and if you want, you can mute the video and slowly watch it while following the code on the left side. And as I said before, it is a valid code, I tested it, and you can try running it in your IDE. Another thing that you could do to understand it better is literally grabbing a pencil and a rubber. Try drawing some binary tree on paper and following Python code when you do it. Don't write it as separate steps. Instead, draw pointers and threads on the same tree and use rubber to update the drawing in place. It's probably the best way to deeply understand the algorithm. What can I tell you more about it? As I said earlier, Morris traversal has O1 space complexity. It also has ON time complexity, but keep in mind that it may execute slower than some recursive implementations. It visits each node twice to build threads, and it may appear slower, but when it comes to memory complexity, this algorithm rules. I should also add that this was an in-order implementation, but you are not limited to in-order. For instance, there is a post-order example on Geeks for Geeks. And if you are looking for an exercise, you can try LeetCode 94. You don't have to use the Morris traversal to solve it, but just try it. LeetCode is cool because it has a lot of test cases and it will let you see if your implementation is correct or not. And last but not least, I don't usually cover algorithms and I do mostly Unreal Engine, Python and Blueprints tutorials. If you are into game development, check out the other videos on the channel or maybe look into my courses on Udemy. Of course, I will be very happy if you subscribe to my channel, leave like or a comment. This video is not sponsored by anyone, and I could say this is the sponsored part where it's sponsored by me. So if it helped you and you would like to help me, even a like is doing the job. Thank you and see you next time. Bye.